Hello and welcome to Sport for Business, where in this week of the All-Ireland football final, I'm delighted to be joined today by Mayo legend Andy Moran. Andy, you're very welcome to Sport for Business.
How are you doing, Rob? Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. We're here today to talk about the launch of Ireland Active's National Fitness Day. It takes place on Thursday, September the 23rd. But there's a couple of other things to talk about as well. We'll kick off with that, though, because you're a gym owner. So obviously, getting people active and getting people moving into the gyms is important for you. What's it been like over the last 18 months for you as a businessman?
Yeah, it's been very tough. I think as a father, firstly, it's been. I see my little 6-year-old and my little boy, and you really wanted to get them involved. They were in their tennis, they were in their football, they were doing their swimming, and all that was just taken away from them. And I can imagine somebody who has got a 14, 15, 16-year-old kid who they were trying to keep active throughout that period. It made it incredibly difficult without any of their sport, without any of their facilities. I know my elite swimmers, our elite swimmers down in Castlebar really struggled during the period because they didn't have facilities to keep going. So it was very tough as a parent. And then as a business, having 3 facilities there and them all closed, we took over the leisure centre in April 2019. We opened up another gym in October 2019. So it was you're just on that growth cycle, or just about to hit that growth cycle when COVID hit first in 2020, March 2020, and March 13th, I think it was 2020 when we closed, and it's been a really, really tough time, but happily to say now we're open, happily to say that we've customers back through the door, we've our swimming lessons back on, and it's moving in the right direction.
And what are you going to be doing specifically around that sort of National Fitness Day? Is there different programs that you're going to have available to people?
Yeah, so like National Fitness Day happens on the 23rd of September. I'm delighted to be involved in it. It's the 6th annual, but I think it's the most important one. It's just promoting and highlight the benefit of regular fitness and activity in people's lives. And if you're from 4 to 84 or to 94, we won't discriminate. If whatever age you are in that, keeping yourself active and keeping yourself physically healthy is absolutely key. And 6th year here of this, an anthem that promotes I think physical exercise and movement is a benefit, of course, to me as a businessman, but is a benefit to the whole society in regards of getting people involved in clubs, getting people social involved. I would say the biggest benefit of any gym at the minute is the social aspect of the gym and the social aspect of exercise, particularly in rural Ireland, where for many years, Rob, that was done by the local pub. And people now are more aware that what's good and what's bad for them. But they still want to meet up and they still want to be social. And the gym has provided, and leisure centres have provided, an access to people in that facility. And on the 23rd, we'll be running all kind of fun activities, all in leisure centres throughout Ireland and all throughout gyms, just to kind of promote physical exercise. There'll be prizes to be won, and we'll be having fun right throughout the country on Thursday, the 23rd of September.
It does sound like fun, and it's important as well. I was once told that you never grow old so long as you have your mind and your mobility. So obviously the gym kind of sorts out both of those to a greater or lesser degree. It is All-Ireland week. You stepped away from the Mayo Senior Panel at the end of the 2019 season, but you've played in 6 of the 7 All-Ireland finals and replays and things like that over the last decade. How does it feel now to be on the sidelines when perhaps the biggest chance of all lies ahead on Saturday?
Yeah, I like me on a personal level, Rob. I am very fortunate. The last final we lost was 2017 that I was part of. And at that point, like there was, of course, that was the first time I've ever thought about retiring from the game, a game that I adore, I loved since I was a kid, but I loved playing for Mayo too. I really kind of appreciated it and was respectful of the fact that, Joe, you're representing the people. So I had 2 years there in 2018, 2019, where I was there, but I was on the wind down. And so I was really comfortable with my decision to step away. I was 35, coming 36 at the time. I'm coming 38 in November. I have nothing else to offer to that team. Hopefully someday I can go back in some coaching capacity. But as a player, I am just so as a player moved into supporter, I'm just so happy for the guys, so happy for the boys I played with and the younger guys that have come through. And if they've taken any kind of, I suppose, guidance or inspiration or anything from the team that I was part of, that's brilliant. And I've always kind of looked at this, Rob, as a relay race. It's you play, you hand on the baton, the next people play, they hand on the baton, and you're always going for the same prize. And I know from my experience playing with James Nallen, Fergal Costello, Gary Ruan, Kieran McDonald, and these guys, they showed us the way to do it, and then they moved on with great grace and great dignity, and I hope we've done the same thing.
Do you sense across the county, is it slightly different this year? You've tended to go into it as perhaps slight underdogs against Dublin. This year, you're going into it perhaps as slight favourites against Tyrone. Is there a difference in the way that people are looking forward to it? Or if, as I suspect, Mayo people always think that they're going to win anyway, so it's going to be the same this time around?
Yeah, it's funny. I've never, like, even when we weren't that great in 2004, 2006, I always thought some miracle would happen and we'd win, you know. And I think that's just the nature of being a Mayo person. We're optimistic beings by our nature. But there is an opportunity here, Rob. Like, I think anyone from Tyrone or Mayo would admit that this is a huge opportunity for both teams. I think if either team was going in playing Dublin in a final, Dublin would be raging hot favourites, and you'd be a bit of a madman to say either Mayo or Tyrone would win that game, because Dublin had such experience in the final. They know how to win it. 5 or 6 did 6 in a row, and then they'd be moved. So it'd be a really difficult task. But now we're going into a final, a unique final, where no player entering the pitch the next day is a senior All-Ireland medal. And that is going to lead to a lot of, I would say, carnage in the game. There is going to be hitting, tackling, turnovers, missed kickouts, missed frees, missed tackles. Everything is going to happen. There'll be injuries. You could see black cards, you could see red cards, you could see anything, because the nervous anticipation and the adrenaline that's going to be flowing through them 30 bodies when the ball is thrown in is going to be huge. So let's just see how it kind of plays out. But both Mayo and Tyrone supporters have the exact same feeling here. There's a huge opportunity, and whoever goes and wins it, I think will have a significant part to play in the next decade of All-Ireland winners.
Will you be coming up to Dublin for the game?
Oh yeah, of course. I'll be myself and my good wife Jennifer. We got to go to our first game as a married couple together, championship game in at the semi-final, and we're planning to do the same thing now in the final. So it's something that we're really looking forward to. My kids now at the minute are learning the green and red of Mayo in school and things like that. So it's a really exciting time around the club and around the town. So we can't wait for the game. And
are you still playing at club level down in Ballahadreen?
Yeah, so I'm the boys on the podcast I do with News Talk. They're slagging me every week. They're calling me. I'm a bit of a player manager at the minute with the club. Myself and my good friend Mike Solon are doing the management of the club, and I'm still with my bad hips trying to play and try to kick a few points. It's not going too successfully at the minute, Rob. But yeah, I'm still trying to play. But my major kind of role and ambition now is kind of in the coaching side of things, and that's where I'm trying to get to.
It's a great show. Tommy Rooney, a Meath man, he'll be happy after last Sunday, and Paddy Andrews as well. You got a good chemistry between you. Do you enjoy that side of it?
I do. I've learned like it's funny when Paddy be talking, you'll be learning so much about how the Dubs prepared. Like even now, I'd be picking up little nuggets of how they bet us. How they bet us, how the preparation was much better than us, how they did little small things that were stronger on that side of things than the Mayo side of things. So I just found it really interesting. I find it a really good way to keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening within the game. Tommy is obviously still playing at club. Paddy's still playing at club, and so am I, and I'm trying to break into it. So them guys still have a really good feel of what's happening around, what's important in the games, because things move in the game, Rob. Like, when I first started, I'm sure when you kicked the ball, an awful lot was done on kick out and winning primary possession and catching the ball. That's not so important anymore. You will see Niall Morgan kicking the ball long the next day and losing it, and you'll be looking at the screen and you're saying, why does he keep kicking the ball long? Because he's looking for field position, he's looking for different things, and he's looking for that one chance where the flick might work and Tyrone might be in for goal. So there's different little aspects of it, and I love the fact that Paddy might say something and I can learn from it, and hopefully I can give him back something as well.
I think it's going to be an intriguing game as a rare neutral on All Ireland final day. I'd hugely look forward to it. I think that the way that the two teams played against Dublin and Kerry respectively in phases, in patches at least, set it up that it could be a real classic. So that'll be great to see. Great that you're learning little bits and pieces out of the podcast. You're going to be giving away a few bits and pieces though again, maybe as well. You've got a book published coming out in the middle of October. Is it all done?
It's done to a certain degree. If we win Sunday, we'll have to put a prologue into it, or on Saturday we'll have to meet up Sunday morning. But yeah, the book is done. And you asked about kind of moving on, and it was the best thing I've ever done. I have to say, it's not an autobiography sort of book about myself. I'm not that interested to be able to write a book about myself. It's about kind of all the learnings I've took from people. So, for example, from John O'Mahony, who was my coach as a kid, my mentor, a big father figure for me, what he taught me about preparation and things like that, and hopefully give something back to a young player or a coach that's into it, and they could bring it into their kind of learning into teams or business or stuff like that. So it's all kind of little factors like that, and it literally, I think, finished my playing career, and it was a lovely thing to do. I didn't mean to do it. I was approached about books all through 2019 when people kind of knew I was going to retire. And in March 2020, when everything was shut down and I was stuck in the house with my good wife, Jennifer, and our two kids, and we were about to kill each other, I said, I better go into the room here and do something for a couple of hours. So I just started typing, and I had 50,000 words written, and I showed it to a writer, Colin Sheridan, and he said, I'd be interested in doing that. And all of a sudden it ended up being a book. So it's funny how things work out. But it's definitely moved me from player to being a really appreciative supporter in the space of 6 months. And I'd nearly encourage anyone to do it now at this stage, Rob, because it's definitely drew a line under my playing career for me.
Well, I would say from footballer of the year to podcaster, gym owner, author, supporter, dad, I think that you've got a fairly interesting life. Looking forward to seeing that. Looking forward as well to September 23rd, National Fitness Day from Ireland Active. But for the moment anyway, with the best of luck on Saturday evening, throw in at 5 p.m. Andy Moran, it has been a pleasure.
Rob, thanks so much.